Hey guys, welcome to another Friday Fireside Chat. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you're all getting excited as we approach the end of the year with our reparenting journey. As we also approach the end of week 2 in November, which is the theme of moving from scarcity to abundance, I thought that I would share with you a short interview, or a section of an interview by Joe Hudson, who is a coach and trainer based in California. This video is actually 35 minutes long or so we're just going to listen to a portion, but I highly suggest that you check out the full video. Link, as always, is in the show notes. Joe Hudson is an excellent coach, and he has a profound capacity to break through to people's most challenging points. He has plenty of live therapy sessions on YouTube also are available, and I find those very beneficial because even if I cannot afford his coaching because it might be quite expensive, at least I can walk through that experience of how he works with others and then replicate that experience also on myself. So as we wrap up this week of shifting from scarcity to abundance, I thought this topic was fitting because he's talking about time scarcity. And everyone knows that everyone, no matter who you are or whether you're reparenting or not, is short on time. There's always so much more to do than we have time for. And if you take into account reparenting, that's a huge challenge in and of itself because you have to live your normal day-to-day life with all your responsibilities while also raising your inner child. And if you have real children, you also might be raising your own external children as well. So I know that people who are in the process of reparenting are often facing time scarcity. And so I want to offer some encouragement on how we can manage the time scarcity and its connection to emotional overwhelm. Because again, we must remain grounded and steady as much as possible in order for our new challenge, our new beliefs and ways of being to really cement themselves in our life. And so without further ado, let's listen to Joe Hudson.
This week on The Art of Accomplishment, we're going to talk about why you don't have enough time. We're going to talk about what time scarcity is, where it comes from, and what you can do about it in your life.
What I see is what's really happening is that it's usually almost always about emotional overwhelm. So practically, I'm a parent. I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I feel like I never have enough time to get them to school. So I'm in the car. Oh my gosh, I'm rushing. There's not enough time. I'm overwhelmed in that place. There's emotional overwhelm in that. And then I go through my day, everything, and then at night I feel all this emotional overwhelm. I don't want to feel it, so I scroll. Maybe I scroll too late. Maybe I don't get enough sleep. Maybe I wake up late. Maybe now I'm rushing again and I don't have enough time again. So there's a practical way in which when we're sitting there scrolling and beating ourselves up for scrolling, as an example, there's lots of other ways that we do this. We have apparently hours, but 4 hours before, 6 hours before, we didn't have enough time to get the job done.
Yeah.
The more sense of urgency that we have, like, oh my gosh, I have to get something done. And particularly urgency is not the urgency that you have, say, in a pickleball game or a basketball game where you are rushing to the net. And there's an urgency there, but it doesn't have that kind of stress that time scarcity has.
Yeah, you're actually outside of time. You're just in the moment right there. You're just moving.
Way to say it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because we're present.
Yeah.
But in that time scarcity thing, what we are is we're in the future. And so that's the other big component of time scarcity is that we are in the future. We're thinking about what we have to do next. We're thinking about, oh, we have one more podcast to record today. I have this other thing to happen. And so we jump into our phone because there, we're not thinking about the future. Relief. I don't have to think about the future. And so what is time scarcity? Really, on some level, it's emotional overwhelm. And the other thing is it's just not being present. It's being in the future. It's thinking about the task that you have to do while you're doing another task, which is insanely stressful to tell yourself you have to do something while you're doing something.
Right. I'm remembering back to about an hour ago where we were like, okay, we're doing 4 episodes today. This next one's going to be time scarcity. We're going to talk about it over lunch and we're going to come back and we're going to record it. But we come back and we talk through it. And suddenly you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to take a nap for 20 minutes and I'll come back. And I was like, actually, I'm tired too. I'm going to take a nap. So you, me, and Mun all took a nap.
Yeah.
And then woke back up. And here we are recording.
We all woke up with less time to do the recordings and also not with time scarcity, not with that sense of like, oh my God, urgency. There was more urgency before we took the nap than there was after we took the nap, even though we had less time.
Yeah. So we've established that the sense of time scarcity is almost always, most of the time, not about the actual amount of time that you have, but just about emotional overwhelm. Let's dive in a little bit more into the emotional overwhelm. How does that work?
Time scarcity is almost always a response to stress. And stress, we like to think, is that we have too many things to do and not enough time. But stress is often about not feeling our emotions, because right now, if I say to you, stop feeling all of your emotions, you have to constrict your body, you have to constrict muscles, and it's stressful. That's incredibly stressful. Telling yourself that you have to be doing something, being constantly under attack in your head, especially do something that you can't do, like, oh, you're driving your kid to school, but you're also thinking about the fact that you have to get the carpets cleaned and blah, 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 blah. But you can't do it because you're driving your kid to school in that moment. That's also stressful. So that negative self-talk is also stress. And so as we're doing those things that are creating stress for us, one of the things that pops out of that is this idea of time scarcity. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Particularly when we're using any kind of stress that puts us out of the present. So even using something like connection, something that we teach in the connection course, the more connected you feel, the less time scarcity you feel. So the emotional...
When you're chasing the pickleball, you're feeling really connected to that moment.
Exactly.
And even if your laundry's undone,
right.
it doesn't matter.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, the reason I feel present and not that time urgency in pickleball, even though I'm running as fast as I can, is because I can't in that moment think about anything but what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And so that's the other piece of it, is that flow states is when we lose track of time. And that time scarcity is when we're actually aware of time. And we know through plenty of studies that flow states are more productive. We know we get more done that way. We know that when we're thinking about time and managing time and thinking about the future, we do not get our jobs done as well. I was just in a meeting the other day and someone was like, oh, great AI researcher doesn't even know what day of the week it is. You could say that about an artist. You could say that about a programmer. You could say that about anybody who's like fully in flow state on their creation. And when we're in those states, we don't feel that time urgency. We feel the time urgency when we are not present in the thing that we're doing, which is also a great way to describe society. So if you think of that 80% of society feels time scarcity, you could just also say 80% of society is not present most of their time.
Yeah, it's more of a diagnostic.
Yeah,
if you're feeling the time scarcity, or if you're feeling time starved, it may just be a sign that you haven't taken the time or the presence to be with what's really going on for you.
Yeah.
And so you've outpaced yourself, you've outrun yourself, and you're trying to catch up on like an intellectual level or on
Yes, that's right.
But on an emotional level, you haven't been there for something.
Yeah, and the other thing about the emotional overwhelm, I think in particular that's interesting, is there's short-term emotional overwhelm. I'm not going to feel that thing, and that creates some stress in my system. But there's the long-term emotional overwhelm as well. And what happens is the angst grows, and then you need more and more things to avoid the angst. And then the more you avoid it, the more the angst grows, the more, and so this thing compounds. It's like a bank account of emotional debt. Like it's a credit card of emotional debt.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, and it just starts building and building and building. The funny thing is we tell ourselves we need a long time. I have a whole this emotional debt, so I'm going to go handle it. And sometimes it just needs like a 10-minute cry.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of a conversation I was having with my wife, Alexa, last week while we were walking. We were talking about the experiences that both of us have had with ADD or with like attention management.
Yeah.
And there was a recognition like, oh, what I experience as ADD is essentially I'm so conscious of time that I'm not living in time.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. And what it really tracks for me is there something in me that is calling out for my attention that I'm not giving it? Some emotional process, some emotional. And there's a symmetry in what you were saying where there's like acute and chronic different versions of the emotional overwhelm. And there's a couple different ways people talk about time starvation, time scarcity, which is there's one which is there's just not enough time in the day to do all the things I want to do in general. And then there's another one which is I'm late to the thing, I'm behind on the thing, and that seems like it's more acute. Can you speak to any distinction that you might see between those two modes?
It's interesting because, so for instance, my particular lifestyle is I am extremely busy, and I never feel like I don't have enough time for my kids, or I always make time for the thing that's most important to me. And so I never feel that way, even though if I had twice as much time, I could do twice as much. So it's like, it's such a strange, I don't buy into that. Where I will buy in is, oh, I have to hurry this up and get the meeting done. Right? Which is particularly weird when you think about how time dilation works, in the fact that oftentimes if you give yourself 45 minutes to do a meeting, you'll get the same thing done that you would have in an hour meeting. And I know there's some principle that they name that we can put in the show notes.
Parkinson's law.
Okay, that's cool. And so there is some sort of weird thing to that, but I will be hurrying through a meeting. That's where I will feel like that lack of time that's available. So in the short term, it's very much the things that we've been talking about, which is I need to get this thing done right now, is I'm in the future. Whether I'm trying to get to the end of the meeting, I'm thinking about the end of the meeting, or whether I am thinking about the next task I have to do, it's very much about not being present in the moment. Whereas when I'm thinking about it long term, I'm not doing stuff this week that will save me time in 6 months from now. So you're running around in urgency where your amygdala is firing, where you're in fear, where you're not going to make as good decisions, where you're not going to learn as quickly.
You guys, welcome back to this Friday Fireside Chat, and I hope that you've enjoyed this talk by Joe Hudson and this examination of time scarcity. It was a bit of a new take on this topic for me, and I really appreciated it, so I hope that you have as well, and you find some benefit in this understanding between this time scarcity and the emotional overwhelm that we feel as a result. And I hope that you also take some time this weekend to check out the full interview where he is then giving you some counter strategies that can help you begin reclaiming your time and boost your productivity and well-being. So with that being said, thanks again for joining me for another week of Reparenting. I'm so proud of you for being here. I'm proud of you for pushing forward, for staying dedicated to yourself, for honoring your inner child and your true self and your true needs. I truly am so thankful for your presence, for your dedication, for your own journey, and for your support, and for the support that you've given me. So thanks again so much for being here. As always, take care of yourself and have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you tomorrow.